This is a temporary effort. Period. Full stop. We're constitutional amendment that changes congressional maps in 26, 28, and 30 and reverts back in 30 for a traditional census. I'm advocating for that. I'm supporting that. I believe in independent redistricting. And in the initiative, it affirms not only support for an independent redistricting, it calls for a national independent redistricting. So I don't know what more evidence you need, but that's what we're promoting. So from my perspective, as someone who just signed the maps and signed the special election, that's where I am. And I imagine the legislature is in the same place.
All right, last
message
question.
to Republican voters in California who are going to be about 10% of the congressional delegation when they're about 30% of voters or more. What's your message to them being, disenfranchised?
They should speak up against their president and these authoritarian tendencies. They should be outraged by what Donald Trump has just done. Cause and effect, outraged by what's just happened with Greg Abbott and the Republicans in Texas.
Governor, what can we expect from your campaign these next few months? It's going to be quick.
Well, it's our campaign. It's a collective effort, and it's just hundreds of thousands of people have already contributed to this cause. It's extraordinary. I've never seen it. Honestly, I've been doing this a long time. Nothing I've ever experienced like this. People understand this is a 5-alarm fire. People understand what's at stake in this country. And people are showing up. I told you I had 15,000 people on a quick Zoom just a moment ago. It's a remarkable moment, and people are really energized to be for something, to stand firm, to advance something, to organize around something at a time when so many people feel powerless and scared. I can't even imagine. People say, well, you overstate the this notion of authoritarian. Really? Maybe in my privileged position, that may be the case. But if you're a member of the Latino community in Bell, California, I don't think it, I know it. I've been meeting with folks down there, scared to death to go to school, to go to a family member's funeral, walk their dog, go to the grocery store. That's happening here in America right now. It's sick. So this is an opportunity to be for something and stand for something and advance something. On Eric Menendez, was there a decision of the parole board?
Not that I heard of.
So I don't know. Yeah, you would have caught me without knowing that. So my understanding is he's in front of the parole board today, and his brother is in front of the parole board tomorrow. The parole board goes through an independent process, well established. As you know well, I look at anywhere from 20 to 45 cases every single week. This will be one of many cases if they move forward and recommend their parole. If they reject it, it's an academic exercise, and then they will determine whether or not they go back in front of the parole board in 1 year, 2 or 3 years. That's their determination. I will make my determination based on the facts, well established. And as you know well, we don't accept every recommendation of the parole board. We look at each case, we'll send it back en banc, which means we'll send it back to a larger cohort of the parole board to take a second look if we have questions, or we'll simply reject on the basis of the facts. One thing I haven't done, and I think this is important, is I have not watched any documentary. I have not watched anything that has come out on the Menendez brothers, and I very intentionally avoided that in expectation and anticipation that this might land on my desk. So the facts themselves will speak for themselves, not my opinion, not what's on TikTok or what's on YouTube, or not what you or others may be saying about these two individuals. I'll look at them on that basis of the facts and the presentation and the reports provided by the parole board if this lands on my desk.
But the facts are going to what are the factors that you will consider?
Thank you.
Please hold.
Okay, so you were just listening there to California Governor Gavin Newsom take questions from reporters about the issue of redistricting. Now, what happened in the state assembly today there in Sacramento, this was passed. Now, the maps themselves were not passed. The very question of putting them to the people of California in a ballot measure, remember, scheduled for November 4th, that issue was passed there. So it's going to appear on the ballot to California voters come this fall here. President Trump weighing in very late last night on this debate, saying Gavin Newsom is way down in the polls. He's viewed as the man who is destroying the once great state of California. Trump saying, I will save California, President DJT. So in the meantime, we do want to head out very, very soon to Sacramento. Some of our reporters are standing by, including Fox News multimedia reporter Kennedy Hayes. She joins me live from Sacramento. Kennedy, this has been quite the momentous day there in the state assembly. What more do we need to know? Where does this go from here?
Andrew, absolutely a lot of momentum throughout the day. We know the votes are officially in. California Democrats approving their redistricting package. We know Governor Gavin Newsom just sealed the deal moments ago, and this has all happened pretty quickly as Democrats have really tried to push this through.
We'll be the first state in U.S. history to, in the most democratic way, submit to the people of our state the ability to determine their own maps. That simply has not been done.
Governor Gavin Newsom called the move a direct response to redistricting efforts led by former President Trump and Republicans in Texas, where a new map could give the GOP 5 additional House seats. Newsom says California is, quote, fighting back, and the map here could help Democrats pick up as many as 5 seats of their own. Now, inside the chamber earlier today, lawmakers debated for hours. The package includes 3 bills, one to fund the special session, one to temporarily bypass the state's independent redistricting commission, and one to approve the new map. Now, Republicans accuse Democrats of a partisan power grab, warning this sets a dangerous precedent and undercuts voters who approved an independent mapping system over a decade ago. They also raised concerns that the maps were drawn behind closed doors without public input.
We have lost all credibility. Let's not forget, this is not free. We are wasting money and resources on an election that is unnecessary and unwanted.
Every time we go to the ballot box, we get to choose if we are going to fight for democracy. And this November, Californians and Democrats in California are going to fight for democracy.
Now, like here in California, voters will have the ultimate say. That'll happen at a special election that's taking place this fall and is expected to cost hundreds of millions of dollars. Andrew.
Kennedy, curious, I know there's a lot of attention paid to this very issue. Anyone making their voices heard today outside the state capitol in Sacramento? Any protests?
Yes, no protests, but if you look behind me here, we see a few more people that there have been throughout the day. At least when this news was announced, there were groups that were gathered on those steps right behind me, celebrating, cheering, and taking pictures.
All right, Kennedy Hayes there live for us in Sacramento. Kennedy, good to see you. Great reporting. Talk soon.